Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm gonna take off the screen share that's saying what we're doing in just a second. I wanted to give everybody a chance to just get logged in so that people didn't see all of the back and forth as we got going.
Okay. So we'll stop the back and forth, people. There we
Now
go.
you should be able to see each other, right?
Yep.
And we are live on YouTube.
Okay, well, let's start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag,
flag
United States of
of the
America,
United States of America, and to the republic for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice for all. Nice flag.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
It
All
always
right.
is.
Public comment. Signan, are
Yes.
you here for a public comment?
Well, to discuss further the signage on the trails.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, we have a new commissioner, Robert Santoro. Okay, so we'll just introduce him. Robert, I tried to call you yesterday. I don't know if you got the message or not.
I did. I had very little time. I tried to get a hold
Yeah,
of you
no
today.
problem.
But, you know,
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and that way we'll get to know you a little bit.
Thanks. I'm relatively new to Cheshire. Grew up in Guildford. I've been at the law firm of Knott and Knott for just about 7 years. Made partner there in 2019. My wife and I moved to town in 2018. We live on Pound Ridge Road, right off of Brentwood, behind Cheshire Nursery. And I got two little ones who are frequent users of the town parks. And I was previously on the Environment Commission. I don't do all that much hiking, but we do get a much fairer use out of the town's parks. So I asked to switch to join this commission because I thought it was something that be involved in my community and something that we actually use in our town. So looking forward to participating.
Great.
Welcome.
Good to have you on board.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Just as a quick explanation and so forth, I may have professional conflicts of interest with various things that we may go over at some time, and that at that point I'll just obviously understand the recusal rules and will recuse myself as need be.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Miss McGarry,
Yes.
go ahead.
Okie dokie. Well, I am here a second time at the request of your committee to present a couple of issues, and one being examples of signage, which I think you all got the copies of.
Yes.
And we're in the process now of trying to decide which we like better, or perhaps some might fit into a certain circumstance or context or environment better than others. We shall see. But those are basically what we have in mind. We haven't worked on exact signage yet, but we would obviously we'll need the QD signs, postage in terms of getting access to the storyline that we'll create. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to use something from Aldorf Leopold's seminal work on the environment as maybe inspirational quotes on the signage. We shall see. Another request that you made of me was to kind of have our committee look at kind of doing a survey. And one of the high school students did maybe 3 weeks ago used the Cheshire Forum to put out a sort of an informal questionnaire. And she reported back on that just before Christmas break. And it was interesting. A number of people, I don't have the exact data, but many people said they would be interested in having it be a learning experience in terms of what they were looking at, educational in terms of a resource while they were on the trail. I know some people said that they were concerned too that it would be too distracting, so that, having a smaller sign might be the way to go. But I thought it was interesting that we did get some very positive feedback about the concept. Basically, that's all I have to report on. I'm looking for you to, give me further guidance or ask additional questions or have other recommendations or considerations that myself and the rest of the team, the CTP team, could benefit from.
Signian, can you get me a copy of that survey by any chance?
I believe I can.
Okay,
All of our work is being put into one sort of folder that Tom is keeping track of at the high school. So once I get access to that, yes, I can do that.
okay, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I don't have it with me today.
Okay, that's okay. Not necessary. Elizabeth, can you share those sign facsimiles? Does everybody have that? Do you need to see it again, or do you want Elizabeth to throw it up?
I mean, we all got it, right? Did everybody look
got it.
at them?
We did, yeah.
Okay,
Thought so. I had sent that out to her and asked her to do
Yep.
that.
I have a question. About how many signs do you think you would be putting up?
No more than 3.
Three.
Um,
In one
And-
section or in different sections?
3 different sections.
So one in each section?
Correct.
Okay.
And I was sort of alluding to the fact that we might have a different style depending upon the section. We want one right at that butterfly garden. And then one that goes further south towards the bridge.
Okay.
And then one that goes further north towards that outpocketing right onto the canal where people could sit. And that's what
Okay.
I'm thinking. That's what I would like to see on that that QR input, ideas for stopping to do an art project or write a poem or have some sort of action that involved creativity of that sort. And as I've mentioned, the people from Arts Place are more than willing to help us with that format. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Didn't
thank
you
you.
say something about the Arts Place was going to do like a puzzle type thing with you?
Yes, and I'm not sure, I haven't heard anything further about that. I know that the director of the Friends of Arts Place was involved in that project. That was
Okay.
her kind of collaborative vision. I've not heard anything further about that.
is that also a fundraiser for ball and socket as well?
I don't believe
The Arts
so.
Place? Oh, what, 2 separate things?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
And so there's Arts Place, which now is actually a subsidiary of the library, as I understand it. the
Correct.
Cheshire.
Yep.
And then, our work is totally associated with the Conservation Training Program in University of Connecticut.
What is it that's associated with the library?
The Cheshire
Arts
Arts.
Place.
Yeah, so they were kind of separate, but now they've been subsumed, they're essentially a subdivision of the library. And I don't know, I don't know much more about it than that.
Does anybody have any suggestions or questions? for Mrs. McGarry.
I have one more thing I could add in terms of the signage. Tom, who is, the one of the three adults on this 6-team project, looked into the cost. We still have an exact number on that, but he also looked into the process of designing the signs so that I'm not very mechanical. So it was news to me that you can attach the sign in such a way that someone couldn't unscrew it and take it off. Some special system. Anyway, he's looked into that so that once they're there, they can't be easily removed. I thought that was a good point.
Okay.
Does the commission have any particular like for any of the 3 signs that are depicted on that sheet? Or no?
Paul?
Any preference?
Can you put them back up? Because
And-
I can't get out of
Yeah.
Zoom and,
Can you see them now?
Yes.
Yes.
kind of.
Signy, I preferred the bottom left. I think that would appeal to younger kids as well. It's very appealing. The colors jump out on you. It's
Mhm.
catching, but yet it's still informative and not more of a billboard type material.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Yeah,
It has a certain elegance, I think, too.
I do
What's
like
it
the second
mounted
one.
on?
I do like the second one
Yeah.
though.
I
Um,
do too. More child friendly, I think. Less words.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
just,
this one for younger kids.
Mhm.
I think number
Oh,
2
well-
is nice. I think number 2 is nice only because it's a little more subtle,
I
When
like
you
them
say
both.
number 2, are you going across or are you going down?
to the
Right.
right, to the right,
To the right,
Right,
okay.
the trees.
across.
What with the white background.
the black and white.
Yeah,
I think that fits more into the landscape as opposed to a big, what is it, granite base?
a big monolith. It looks like a monolith. Doesn't it look like a monolith?
It does, it does. You're right.
It looks
It has-
expensive.
It's out of 2001.
Yeah, you're
Right.
right.
I don't recommend the big stanchion that it's on. I think
Yeah,
put that
Yeah.
on just normal wood.
yeah, that's
either
good.
fine.
So I have a question. So just because they kind of both target a different age group, I think maybe of children or activity or participation, can you do one of each or you have to have them all the same? Or I know you have 3, but you know what I'm saying? Could you have one of the number 2 and 2 of the 3s or?
I think absolutely we could.
with
Absolutely.
Yeah, who's paying for that though? I mean, there's.
Well, that's a good question. I do
We're
not
gonna do.
know exactly about the cost at this time. We're looking, that's another project that we're working on. I know I have, as a representative of the Suburban Garden Club president, I know we will help with funding. I believe too that the University of Connecticut in their role in supporting our work will have funding resources for us. So that's my plan at this point. I imagine too that there are plenty, well, I would assume there are some organizations in our town too, that if we approach them, might be willing to subsidize the funding for the signage as well.
Okay, well, you'll work on that independent of us, correct?
Oh, yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions for Ms. McGarry before we move on? Okay, thank you again, and have a happy
Oh,
new year and safe new year.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ian.
so much. Oh, my
Thank you for
pleasure.
the information.
Oh,
John?
great. Thank you. I
Bye-bye.
really appreciate
Bye.
your support.
Always.
Thank you. Bye.
And I'll get that other data to you as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And then
Bye-bye.
come back and see us when it's
I will.
appropriate.
Getting used to
Okay.
these. They're kind of nice.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
care.
acceptance of the minutes
Bye-bye.
from December 2nd.
I'll put a motion in to accept the minutes from December.
Anybody gonna second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Technically, I'll abstain because I wasn't there. Thank you. Robert Santoro.
But we talked about you though.
I hope it was bad things.
Always.
Okay. Mark? Parks update.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, the crews, they've been servicing all the equipment, getting out there, cleaning up all the brush and storm damage we've had in the parks. And the open space they're starting to work on soon. Snow removal, of course, they've been helping DPW and working on their sidewalks. So that's what they've been up to. They're healthy. That's all that's important right now, and they're doing good.
Good. How's the, how are the plow blades doing with the fog on the roads?
Our carbide has some issues with it sometimes. The chip seal, that's the plain chip seal, the carbide has a problem with. It'll chatter sometimes and tear up some stones. When they fog over it, it helps. So we're not having too much problems with that.
Okay.
But we've kind of gone to all carbide blades because you don't change them. The steel blades we used to change, we could change this blade every storm, if the storm was long enough.
Oh.
So it helps us in one end and hurts us in another. But
Okay.
but it's with the fog on top, it's working out pretty good.
Good. All
And
right.
Pat, we have our monthly meeting with Public Works with George, Mark, and Richie Pruitt tomorrow morning, just to kind of talk about other things that'll be happening in the parks coming up.
Okay. Do you want to let us know about that now or next month?
We'll let you know about it next month, and I can send out an email of what the agenda items and what we talk about. But there's some things at Mixville Park. I was there with George yesterday to get a real price. George has been helpful in working with some architects to get some pricing and some concepts for that building that was taken down at Mixville Park behind the large pavilion, so that we could have it for an area of refuge for our camp program throughout the summer and some other outdoor education programs on the shoulder seasons in the early spring and maybe in the fall after the summer. And then there's some field work and some things that are still left over from the capital improvements that we had from fiscal year 1920. Some of those funds that were approved by the council to expend. So we'll be talking about that, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Moving along, I guess Peter's not here tonight. Communications.
I have 0.
So, all right, we'll go on to the chairman's report. Last month, we were talking about the Ruth Burke Trail at Cheshire Park. And I spoke to our unofficial historian, who has been with Park and Rec since 1970, I believe, and he had no knowledge. He had never even heard of that name. So I don't know.
Really?
If Elizabeth was going to look. Yeah, Elizabeth was going to look up some stuff, and I wonder if you found anything, Elizabeth.
Sorry, I had myself muted. I did have some stuff. I didn't come prepared. If you give me a second, I can
Okay.
pull it up.
No.
If you move on to the next thing and bounce back. I did have some dates for when it was and who she was, but she was supposedly instrumental in getting Cheshire Park started and was on the commission. So let me look quickly and get right back to you on that.
Okay, we'll move along, and then you could let us know when you're ready. John?
Sure. Chairman's
Old
report.
business.
So that's your chairman's report. Old business. So we had the last public engagement for the Chartman, the Bartlam South piece with Weston and Sampson, the consultants. we are going to forward concept 1B to the town council on, we were going to be shooting for January 12th, which is next week, but this afternoon, late this afternoon, Sean was going through the council agenda prep, and there were some emails back and forth with Weston and Sampson and Sean, thinking about maybe pushing this concept 1B final master plan presentation to the 26th, because I guess the January 12th council agenda is pretty heavy. And so they didn't want to burden that meeting with this this important piece on the master plan. So I could let you know again tomorrow what the disposition is once I see the council agenda, but I'm thinking they're leaning towards the 26th. So concept 1B, if you recall, we're going to the council to get approval for the full build out. That doesn't mean that, you know, we're asking or we're coming to the town to come up with $15 million to complete the whole project. It's to get the approval so that we could have a shovel-ready project and then phase in the different parts of that project as funding permits and as time permits. You know, you have coming up this fall also would be the school modernization plan, whatever phase or whatever is going to be happening with that. So that could be competing with this. And then obviously we don't know what the budget season is going to be looking like with all this COVID stuff and, you know, less revenues and so forth. But in any event, we're gonna go and present 1B and then have that list of a la carte items. But I think the phase that Sean Kimball and myself and Weston and Sampson are looking to forward would be to do the turf field in the middle, the parking where the skateboard park is, that expansion, and then coming out towards Route 10 for that curb cut for the north turn in and the north turn out, and then the town green. So just that alone was right around $6 million. Sean Kimball had put into his budget last year, or this current budget, 5.6 million as a placeholder. So the thinking was that a lot of people liked the green space and the gravel trails that are there now on the south piece of Bartlett. Providing the turf field with lights, because the town is deficient with athletic field lighting, that expands, you know, the lacrosse season in the spring, and then it provides the football program and cheer program a home instead of leaving August, going to Cheshire Park, and then, you know, impacting all three of those fields there. So we get a little preservation of Cheshire Park once this gets built, if it ever gets built. And then this also provides some flexibility for if we ever need to attack the drainage on M2 and M3 or M5, 6, and 7, those fields in the back of the pool. You know, having a turf field, 2 turf fields in the middle with lights basically gives you, with scheduling 4 fields, it gives you some great flexibility. So the fields, the town green, which we don't really have a town green, and increased parking for at least 80 additional vehicles was what we were going to present as a phase. That may change. That was just myself, the consultant, and Sean's recommendation. Now, one other thing to add, the consultant was talking about, if we were to do this, was to add where the great lawn was going to be with the band shell facing northwest, to do a where the walkway in the plan is that oval walkway. That oval walkway is equivalent to a quarter of a mile. So perhaps we could have Public Works in the interim do that circle so that people can get it as a reference point, but then also have a quarter-mile track. And then in the overall plan, when you connect all the walkways, so if you started at the softball fields, and you went north, and you went, east, going along the backside of the lacrosse fields, M1, M2, come around by the community gardens, go in the back of M5, 6, 7, and go behind the pool, come out where the Veterans Memorial was going to be in the back corner, the
Mhm.
southeast corner, and come back to the front. It's a 1.25 mile loop. That's not pretty bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and could
So
they do
that's-
isn't it the cancer walk that we do every year at the high school, like things like that could happen there?
Oh, a lot of things could happen there, but it's nice that you can get, a 1.25 mile walk, just one loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so that was gonna be the 12th. It may now be the 26th, but I'll let you know tomorrow.
I have a question. Is
Sure,
one
Mike.
B the one where the band shell would be in the back? It's not the one with the big town green in the front. It's the one with the town green in the back. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
And
That
what
was
happens
the
to
one
the,
that,
I have one question.
what's that, Paul?
what happens to the skate park? We're gonna use it for parking.
No, so the skate park is gonna stay where it is.
Okay.
The skate park parking, that parking adjacent to it will be expanded all the way across.
Gotcha.
I have one question too, John. I know it's kind of late for
Sure.
questions, but just the pickleball courts have been a big hit, I have neighbors in the community I live in that talk to me all the time about it and how crowded it is and how hard it is to get a court. I didn't know if there was any room on this plan or any thought to adding more.
No.
On this plan, there was not, because we were looking at possibly, I think, 2 or 3 years out in the capital budget, we were looking to address the Rolling Acres courts at some point. Those 3 tennis courts that are on South Rolling Acres.
Mhm.
Okay.
I got a price to put into the budget. I think it's like 175,000 to reconstruct that surface fencing, and then whatever configuration you wanted to have. If you wanted to replace the 3 tennis that's there, 3 tennis. If you wanted to go 2 tennis and 2 pickleball, because you could put 2 pickleball courts over 1 tennis court. There's not enough parking there because it's a small, it's right off the neighborhood main drive there. You can only park probably
Right.
about 12 cars. So if you made that all pickleball, you're going to have parking on street and then have problems with the neighborhood. And I don't really want to do that. So it'd probably be maybe 2 tennis and 2 pickleball,
Okay.
but that's something
Just
down the
thought I'd throw
road
it out
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to think about, that
Yep.
it's very active. So,
I think Copper Valley is doing something with some courts over there. I don't know the extent of their plan. And then there's a resident that came to me last week that helped me with the Bartlam playground that we rehabbed this past summer. Gabrielle Tugas. She's working on something tennis, pickleball related, privately.
okay. Great. Thanks.
Yep. I put on letter B there, the budget. I don't know if you guys wanted to take a look at it. The next 2 weeks, our department's going to be conducting some internal workshops and crafting our budget proposal. I don't know if you wanted to go take a look at that on your own time, and if there's anything that you think that maybe we should include or we should have, give me a shout out. Let me know. It's an opportunity. The park fees proposal, when I went to council back in early December, it seemed to be well received. They didn't take any action. I haven't received any calls from any council people. Sean Kimball hasn't received any calls from from the town council. I think it's going to fly through on the 12th, but I'll be there for any other further discussion on that. So that's a good sign, because then, that allows us the opportunity to increase our revenues and put our fees in the marketplace, with all our surrounding towns.
Which
And
is
then-
what we've needed to do for a long time.
What's that, Pat?
We need to do that for a long time. We keep bringing it up and it never goes anywhere.
Yeah, so
So that's
hopefully
good.
it's gonna happen on Tuesday, and then, I know the town ordinances that we worked on, that we looked at, they were last adopted in 1995. Those recommendations are gonna be accepted at the council meeting on Tuesday, and then be referred to the, subcommittee, the ordinance committee. So we should be getting a meeting request, probably in the next month or so. So we'll need to maybe attend that and defend some of those
Okay.
recommendations and listen to what else they may have. That's it.
All right. So has everyone gotten a copy of the 2021 meeting calendar schedule?
Yes.
Does anybody have a problem
I didn't
with
look
any
at
of
it.
these dates?
July tends to be the only one. I don't know what day that's on this year. Fourth
The
of July.
7th,
July 7th, huh?
7th.
Okay.
So the 4th is a Sunday.
Define.
What'll
I think
happen?
you guys-
What happens in the town when the July 4th falls on a Sunday?
I think Monday is the holiday
Yeah.
when it's on a Sunday.
I
Yeah,
think
the
last
5th is the
last
holiday.
year we discussed. Last year we discussed that lots of people go away that week,
Right,
so we moved it to the 10th.
And nobody went away because of COVID, so.
Whatever.
right.
So,
We
who
can
could
always,
have
we can always
foreseen that,
change it.
Mike?
We
can
can
change
change
it.
it when we get to June.
We can go away, we can change it.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, if we can go somewhere, we'll change it.
Okay. So Elizabeth's back on.
Yeah, the only things I was able to find from home, I apologize. I think I have more in the office and I just, I didn't see it on the agenda, so I wasn't totally there. But I did find that, Dr. Burke died in 1970, and we have a
Wow.
picture of the sign, as far back as 1980. So I don't remember when exactly Jim Nankin was involved. Was it all of those times?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Do we want to do anything more with that sign now?
Nope.
I mean, the sign is on a tree. Her daughter from California reached out to me a couple months ago. That's why I brought it up. And
Right.
she was hoping that this body would maybe, because her mom was so instrumental with Cheshire Park, maybe we could talk about it over a couple of meetings, and maybe it's a Boy Scout project, I don't know. Maybe, if we could take a visit out there and see,
We have a picture of it?
where do we even want to put this? So that it's prominent and it does its justice.
Well, it's
I'm
also a running trail right after, Steve, who was that after? Is it-
It was after the person who died in 9/11.
Mark Chardon.
Yep.
Well, we
Okay.
weren't naming it, we were gonna name it after him, but they ended up naming the pavilion, which I'm still working on a sign for the pavilion at Cheshire Park. That's how we
Okay.
found this. The folks that wanted to name the trails after Mark Jardim, Elizabeth had found or had gone out there and saw the signs nailed to the trees. And it's not a great memorial.
Do you have a
kinda
picture of it? Do we have an image of what that looks like? We don't have an image.
I'll get some and snap them and I'll share them with you this week.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Yeah,
think we just
sure.
need confirmation, right? That we put them up. I mean, do we get confirmation from Bob Ciccolini or anybody? Wasn't he
We-
here then?
We do have the signs. I was there when I took the pictures of them. They're just on a different computer. They aren't. So I can
The Park and Rec sign?
They're Park and Rec signs. Yeah, Sandy and I went out there in 2017 and took pictures. The new ones had just gone up then. So it was that they were replaced in 2017.
okay.
And she had been working with Bob Ciccolini to get them replaced and get the new signs up. So I guess she's since changed what her interest in the signs is. I think the original one was on a fence post, so it wasn't on a tree. It seemed like, from what I remember, John, maybe she just didn't like that it was in a tree, that it was mean to the trees perhaps. And that if it was in the ground, it wouldn't be
Piece of ground.
impacting nature as much, maybe.
Right.
I have one other question. So Jim Nathan doesn't remember how the Cheshire Park got started? I find that hard to believe. How does he not remember that? Hello?
Pat,
Pat,
No,
Pat.
Pat, you with us?
I'm with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
What was the question?
Jim doesn't remember anything about how Cheshire Park got started?
Does Jim?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll ask him.
okay.
I think it's outlined, isn't it outlined in the daughter's request?
I also
Talked
have a
about-
hard copy of an older book that we had from several years back. That was like an annual report that has a brief timeline. And it might be of interest to all of you guys if I just scan those couple pages and share them with you.
Okay.
Of the timeline of
Okay.
not just Cheshire Park, but some big events that have happened, like including when the youth center burned down and things like that, just as benchmarks for big things that have
Yeah, that'd be
happened. It wasn't continued in more recent years, but it may be something that you guys would find interesting.
That'd be great, Elizabeth.
So, John, what is this woman looking for exactly? I mean, there's new signs up that went up 3 or 4 years ago. What exactly is she looking for?
She's
Not-
looking for the signs not to be in a tree and to maybe have
Right.
a more of a formal memorial dedicated to her mom
For
and
her.
her mom's efforts
Okay.
to the
Yeah.
park.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe if we went back to look at our signs that Ms. McGeary was talking about, if
Yeah,
we took a little plaque like that and put it on a post, and that would satisfy her. And it would be a great memorial. Nothing would be banging on trees, and it could be a little verbiage as to, her mother's contribution.
Okay,
very good.
I'll look into it. I'll get some facsimiles and get some prices, see what it might be, and then Elizabeth can share some of the historical data, and we could decide what we want to put on it.
That sounds good.
And then
I
I can
just-
reach out to the daughter and see if the daughter has any funds or anything else to maybe kick in towards it.
And make sure this will be acceptable to her too, before we go forward with it.
Sure.
Well, and I think we need to be careful that when there might have been other people instrumental in getting the same thing done. That it's not just her name, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
There could have been other people involved in that could be upsetting to families that they're not mentioned. So I just think we need confirmation of who was involved, who participated, and what her participation was. Unless we just put up
Yeah, I'll
exactly what she
examine the
had.
information that yeah, I'll have the information that,
Oh,
we'll
thanks.
examine it with Elizabeth.
Okay,
There you go, Paul.
Yeah, okay.
This is one of the
Wow.
pictures here from, I know it's
Wow.
kind of far back, trying to see if
Oh.
I can,
it's actually nicer than I thought. It sounded
trying to see if I
terrible.
can pull them
Get
all
that.
up. The computer's
really-
being really slow. It doesn't
remember
like doing the zoom and pulling these up. I'm sorry.
John, when was that sign
Oh.
put up?
There we go.
Look at that,
What was that?
dedicated in 1972.
Yeah, well, the tree was a lot
Dedicated
smaller
19
back then. The tree was shorter.
Probably.
These are the new signs from 2017.
That's correct, Steve.
Nice. Mhm.
Yeah,
So
it is
that's
kind
the
of
sign.
stuck in the woods a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, she's lucky she's got her name on the tree.
Well,
I said she's
Okay.
lucky she's got her name on the tree.
All right, so memorial bench request. We have a requested by Stephanie Eisenbarth in honor of Oscar Collegio. And Austin and Xavier would like this bench in honor of their father who passed away this June. He was a runner who loved the canal. Do we know who Stephanie Eisenbarth is and how old his Oscar's children are? I wonder why they didn't request it.
I don't know. And I think we need to maybe work on our forms so that we can get some historical or some background information, because these requests seem to be coming a little bit more frequent. And then we don't have enough information to support, making a motion to accept or approve. I'll double back, Pat, and get that information. But I think they also
Okay,
wanted this
all right.
bunch to be
I mean, the other thing-
orange.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this, we should have some colors, like I think we have black and we have dark green, whatever else, but I mean, I think orange is maybe
The
not
orange frame,
keeping.
the
Pardon?
frame? What's
They-
orange?
No,
Very
I think they
orange
wanted the
bench.
slats to be orange, the bench.
Oh.
They want the whole bench to be orange.
Right,
It's his favorite color.
yeah,
That's ugly.
I thought we
I,
had,
I don't think we should change colors of we have to have one color. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
right.
I thought
I
we
agree.
did
I
have
agree.
protocol with certain colors. They had to remain the same, people couldn't, for that reason.
Right.
Right.
All right,
There's the Batman bench that's black and yellow.
True.
It is, it's
Where is that?
between North Brooksville and Higgins.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
Batman bench.
There's a Batman bench.
Who did that?
Oh, it's been there a long time. I'm not kidding.
Predates
Whose fault
me.
was that?
I didn't vote for that one. I'll tell you
Yes,
that
you
right now.
I
You wanna-
don't think
you
any
wanna-
of us did.
Do you want to table that, Pat?
Table it.
We'll
I don't
table
think any
it.
of us. I
And
never
there's not-
remember voting for a Batman bench.
It's out there.
Maybe someone snuck out there and put it out there one night.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this is one of those details you guys get aggravated with me about when I bring it up, but see what happens?
What's that?
We have a yellow bench. Now we gotta
It's
tell the
black and
orange.
it's
bench
black and
people.
yellow.
No, it's black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
So
Come
how do
on,
we get
get your superheroes right.
How do we get out of
Alright.
it? Telling them, no, you can't have an orange bench. We have a yellow one.
I
Actually, we
think
talked about bringing like
Let's-
some red benches in or something to give a little color to some of the places.
let's
Yeah.
table
Be
it
all
until we
black.
have more information.
Too much.
Okay,
One color and that's it.
That's it.
all right. Director's Department report.
Oh, boy, you ready for 2 hours of fun?
Boy, I'll tell you.
Holy crap, really?
Don't be kidding us, John.
Maybe you can give us the Reader's Digest version.
I'll give you the Cliff Notes.
Okay,
So, community pool, well, right now it's Vaccine Central for the first responders. They had their initial vaccine last Saturday. Went really well. They had one today. It was going well. I was there this morning. It was going very well. So that's handled. It's going pretty good. And the pool's still open and people are still coming for lap swims. So the two of them can commingle.
I have a question for you. Do they have
Yeah.
life support systems at the pool where they're giving these vaccinations?
They have, I believe, they have a table there with EMTs, and they have an arrangement with Trinity Health in case there is a situation.
Well, do they have? Do they have even an EpiPen there?
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah,
a
no,
app?
yeah. They have a whole area where they have once people are, they receive their vaccination. There's based on I guess their history, if they do have allergies, there's areas where they sit for 30 minutes and they're monitored,
Right,
and they have everything that they need there. Chesprocot's done a really good job.
okay.
They added phone lines there, a direct contact phone. They initially wanted radios, but Chief Kasner wanted a hardwire phone. So they have everything that they need there. Pat.
Okay. Have they seen any reactions yet? Any
None that's been reported to me. I don't know. Town manager would probably be a better resource for that because he's been there for most of the time, Saturday and today. But I haven't heard of any.
Mark, what are they giving the town employees? Moderna?
It's Moderna.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're almost wrapping up 1A, and I think they're getting into devising the 1B list.
Okay.
The chlorinator was installed, the new chlorinator was installed November, last month. A brand new one was installed back in June, and it's been having some failures. So they replaced it brand new as a warranty fix. We've had a recent issue with the boilers. There's a big meeting tomorrow with a couple of the vendors to rectify it. I think they're onto the fix. There's another problem with the impeller to one of the main pumps that's 20 years old. So we're working through that. Town manager's aware, and he's sharing it with the council chairman on a direction of what we're going to do and where the funds may come to repair it. Weston and Sampson, their aquatics division, we're doing a mechanical assessment. If you recall, back late summer, we did a pool assessment so that we can get benchmarks for all of the pool equipment, so we can do some, proper capital budget planning for all the components to the pool. And now we're doing a second part of that is to do the HVAC and mechanics of the pool. So they have one of their engineers coming from their Philadelphia field office coming tomorrow to do a site visit and a walk at the pool with the facility tech and a couple of the vendors that Sheila uses on a regular basis to make repairs and to troubleshoot. The Chapman we talked about, January 12th, maybe going to the council. Looks like it's probably going to be the 26th.
So how is that handled? When
sorry?
So a question for you. When we bring someone in from out of state, how is that handled?
How is it handled?
Just social distancing?
Yeah, there is. I mean, she's there to do, she's going to be looking at the pump room, the air handling unit. She's going to be going upstairs to look at, the other mechanics of the HVAC system. And then through social distancing, just, talking to the vendors as she needs to get any other supplemental information so she can do her assessment, take photos. She's going there to do some information gathering.
Okay.
Is that Karen?
What state are we talking about that she's coming from?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Chapman update. I already gave you that. The concept 1B is the concept that we're going to forward to the town council for the master plan final report. We talked about the non-resident fees. Mixville is the guardhouse. If you recall last summer with all the COVID issues, and then we finally opened up for the last month of August to Labor Day. We had a couple of park rangers there that seemed to work out well, but it was costly. If you recall, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago, we were talking about what Newport, Rhode Island does with their town beaches with that kiosk. Elizabeth and I, since then, we did a demo with another company called Yodel, which is another parking solution, which we found out was like totally brand new. They just started business in November. So I don't know if that's going to be a good option. So Elizabeth and I are thinking collectively that, maybe the automation isn't the way to go, and just having some people there, boots on the ground, and using the system that we already have, maybe tweaking it a little bit, still not having any collection of money on site because of the issues that presents. So hopefully this month, along with the budget, we'll be able to decide a direction of where we're gonna go with that. I don't know if you have anything else that you wanted to chime in, Elizabeth? Or support or add to that?
That sounds about right. I think that depending on the appetite, for what we request in the budget, it may just be best to keep people out there. Having the 2 people out there was, pretty pricey, so hopefully that gets supported as we're requesting our next budget. But I think having 2 people is the best bet for, safety for the staff and security of the park as well.
So, and perhaps maybe it's only just the weekends, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, and Sunday. You know, when we went August to Labor Day, you know, those 30 whatever days it was every single day. And, you know, we don't get the traffic Monday through Friday,
Right.
you know, during the day and evening. So maybe it's really more of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, especially when we have park rentals there, you know, the pavilion rentals. And then if you have, you know, hot weather days and the waterfront is buzzing and people want to be there, perhaps maybe that helps a little bit too with the cost.
Right. And we did see that a lot of people were able to use our existing system this past summer for getting their day passes. So it would just be a matter of what the fees are and who's charged them. Some of the other automated systems, the people who had complained about having to get a pass and they couldn't do it online probably would have had a challenge if we had like I don't want to call it a toll system, but if we had like a card system out there that they had to swipe a credit card, because some of the people who couldn't buy it online were complaining that they didn't have credit cards. So they still would have had the same problem if we had a parking meter. Sorry, that's what I should have said on site.
You know, and the other issue too is we didn't allow non-residents to purchase a pass last August,
The season pass, right? Yeah.
the season pass. So, you know, I don't know if that's something that you want to think about that, you know, maybe at the February meeting or the March meeting, as we start to come up with a concrete solution, you know, is that something that we want to talk about? I don't know.
Pre-COVID, we used to start selling our Mixville passes to residents and non-residents in April for the upcoming summer, because it would start in Memorial Day weekend. So that gave people about at least a month, up to 6 weeks lead time for purchasing their pass. So we would just want to have that in place by mid-April, whatever the recommendation is.
And
We're gonna
obviously,
limit the number of passes.
hopefully we don't have to with, you know, we'll have to see where we are with, you know, COVID restrictions and capacities and, you know, what we're really allowed to have outdoors.
I mean, I think we should take care of the Chester residents first. If we're going to be allowed X number of passes for the park, I think that the Chester residents should get first shot at it, and then the out-of-town residents.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know what
also gonna
anybody
depend,
else thinks.
it's gonna depend if you can let the bathrooms open or
Well-
not. That's the biggest thing. If the bathrooms aren't gonna be open, you really can't sell a
No,
pass to
that, but-
anybody.
What's that, Mike? I couldn't
What
hear
if
you.
If the bathrooms aren't open, you really can't sell passes to people. And we're not gonna know that till potentially later.
Right.
The other thing is what about, I see that as a problem, because would you have like 48 hours before the day or something, then it opens to outside Cheshire, because people could ask the last minute for a pass. So I don't know how you would regulate that. That's what I'm saying.
This past year, like past summer, we allowed non-residents to purchase up to 4 days in advance. So that way they were able to still come into our office. And we used the 4 days, for example, on Labor Day weekend. So if there were available passes, they could come in on a Friday to buy up until the upcoming Monday. So that was how we came up with
Okay.
the 4 days in advance that non-residents could purchase, but they were only allowed day passes this past year.
Well, that's good.
That's great.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so Mixville, we'll have to discuss that, how we want to handle that going forward, and, you know, we'll know more as we get further with COVID into the year. The dog park shelters, Mark, do you know when you guys might attack that and put that one up?
Oh, we'll start assembling it within the next week or two. And I know
Okay,
They want some type of I don't know if they'll put it on or we'll put it on, something on the bottom legs to protect it from the dog urine.
Yeah,
So,
some epoxy, something they wanted
Yeah,
to put on
yeah.
there.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks. Park and Rec ordinances, we discussed already. Community pool assessment, I just discussed 2 minutes ago. Woman's coming tomorrow, the engineer. Park projects, they're self-explanatory and they're red. We're gonna, explore some of those again as we discuss with our monthly meetings with Public Works. The Cheshire Park Pavilion, the Mark Jardim sign. I just haven't had time to get around to get and work what the sign is going to look like. So once I do, hopefully, probably for the next meeting, I'll have what the size and the material, and Arnett Talbot's going to supply me with the appropriate text. Let's see, summer concerts. Oh, that's the other thing too, is I'm going, when I go to the council January 12th, because we didn't have the Bartlett Beach this past summer, we didn't spend any money with Power Station. I met with them back in November to discuss, because it was a 1-year bid, we were discussing, this future bid for 2021, and maybe instead of having it 1 year, maybe working a multi-year type of a bid. They indicated that they were working with other municipalities that didn't have concerts either to see if they can extend this bid if they kept their price the same at 2020. So I did pitch that to the town manager. He liked the idea because we're not going to see an increase in cost. And this is if we're going to run concerts. So he's putting it on the agenda. He's talking to Chairman Norris. So we'll find out Tuesday if they're going to technically waive the bid so that we could, we don't have to go out to bid and just honor the 2020 price and move on for the summer with Power Station, them being a Cheshire business. Special events.
John,
what's that?
John, the price of Power Station, weren't they overpriced to begin with? And that's why we started to look at other places?
Not the last couple of years. The last couple of years, they've gone out to bid.
Okay, well, they got caught. Remember how they were so much more than the other, and was it Power Station? I think it was.
I think it predated me.
Yes, there was,
No, I
They
thought it was
were-
the company we were just using.
it was Power Station, then we went out to
The
Blue
company we were just
Wave.
using.
Power
another
Station
one.
did not want to bid. They thought they should have gotten the
Right,
Correct.
the
and they were
the
overpriced.
venue, and we went out and bid, and then they were really upset because they were in town. They thought they should just get it, but they didn't get it that year. And then I think last year, John, didn't we go out with Tim and we sat down with them, and they really were receptive to,
All right,
Well, we
bidding.
went out to bid again, and they sharpened their pencil. And I
right,
think there were 3 other bidders, 2 from out of state, and Power Station won the bid.
Huh?
right, because the one that we were using, they really went through the roof with their price.
That's
Remember that?
correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Mhm.
okay.
Good job, you played hardball.
Special events. We did some new special events this past fall. We did the Tom Turkey Hunt, which was a turkey scavenger hunt with we hid some paper turkeys and had our office staff came up. Stephanie Dunn came up with some interesting clues. We had over 50. Was it 50 people, 50 families, or 50 participants? Elizabeth.
It was right around there. I believe it was 46 individuals. But then I think some people even joined the last minute. So right around 50, yeah.
So
Yeah,
we were
everyone
done
loved
in an hour. They found the 5 turkeys and 1 chicken. The Chick-fil-A owner was on hand from Wallingford and provided gift bags that had, I think the monetary value was like 40 or 50 bucks worth of coupons and other things that were inside the bag for the winners. It was a great event. We also did the second year with the Santa Hotline. We went from 9 calls to, I think, over 52 calls to our resident Santa at Park and Rec. Another great fun event. we came up with the Knights of Lights and Sights Cheshire. It was a home and door window decorating contest. Timmy Weed, our program supervisor, or program coordinator, got the sign company that the town uses to donate yard signs, and they gave us two, one that they could put outside, one that they could bring inside and showcase or do whatever they want. Our office staff took some time on our own to judge, was it 50 houses in 3 different categories. And then Tim and I went around with the Cheshire Fire Department Prize Patrol and made the award on one night. It was a lot of fun. I took the videos. If you saw our Facebook page, the Park and Rec page, it's all on there if you want to go take a look at it. And then the tree lighting, Public Works was gracious enough to dig out the old lights from the one that's at the church green and put it at the tree at Bartland Park, just to kind of maybe start gravitating towards Bartland Park and eventually a town green at Bartland Park if it ever happens. The Elizabeth found an old throne for Santa, and the Cheshire Lions Club over, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks rehabbed it and created a beautiful chair. It's still out there. We have to pull it in and put it back into storage, but we have some great ideas moving forward post COVID. So be on the lookout for that next year. But it was a busy December for us. It was a lot of fun. Ellen Burke, we talked about it. The Bartland concession stand, we're still trying to liquidate some of the contents inside. We talked to Signia, she was here today. Nothing really going on with Councilman Jinx right now in the mountain bike trails with the De Dominicus property. Midstate Rugby, I have been in contact with them. They have a few things that they would like to do out at some minor things in preparation if they're allowed to use that Upper Mixville Park field, since Cheshire Rugby has been using any open space or parking lots to conduct practices because of the limited field space that we have in town. Park rentals, we pushed it to March 1st just to kind of get a gauge and see what's happening with the virus and see where the governor's rules are going to be for outdoor gatherings. We probably won't know at that point, but maybe have a better idea, hopefully. Field distributions, same thing. I'm pushing them off to February. Elizabeth is part of Connecticut Recreation Parks Association Legislative Committee. I think are you the chairperson?
As of February 1st, I'll be the chairperson.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So she's sitting on some meetings with the state of Connecticut and the people that put together the public sector guidelines for youth sports and everything else. So it's nice to have someone on the inside to get us that information. So hopefully we'll find out some information maybe tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow for youth sports. Right now, teams can't practice as a team. January 19th was the date that it was supposed to be lifted, but with this resurgence of holiday infections and now this crazy strain that's highly contagious, Elizabeth is indicating that through her discussions today and meetings that may be pushed from January 19th to at the minimum February 1st or beyond. So we'll have to see what's happening. And then Steve can give us the information on the CIAC and what's happening with winter high school sports.
Yeah, there's as a matter of fact, tomorrow there's a CIAC Board of Control meeting that's going to decide whether or not that January 19th date will move forward for high school sports, or they're going to delay it even further. So we'll have more information on that tomorrow. Hopefully I can give an update at next meeting or via email after that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they might not even open.
You tired, John?
That's it, Pat. I'm all
Are you out of
done.
breath? Okay. So, Mr. Santoro, we'll let you turn your mic on. How do you like Rob, Robert, Bob?
Rob's
Or-
good, thanks.
What's that now?
Rob is good, yes.
Rob,
Rob's fine,
okay,
thank
so you see
you.
all these great things going on for your kids. So it's a
All
good
good
time to get
stuff.
involved. It's our grandkids. Any
Speak for
questions?
yourself.
No questions.
Okay,
Trying to keep up with everything. There's a lot going on.
there is a lot of good things in town.
Takes
Yes.
about
Well,
3
that-
years, Rob.
One of the
It
nice
does.
things about meeting online is that I can Google everything that you're talking about, and so I can make myself ready. So
All right. Okay, I'll take a motion.
so
Make a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I-
Stay safe, everybody.
You too,
Hey,
Pat.
John, do you have a
Thank you.
John, can you and I stay on, or does this whole thing have to close out?
Elizabeth is controlling it, so it'll be me, her, and you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.